giant fish came out of the water there.
Yeah, well, that's the leapers we're starting to look for. It's starting to calm off now. And start watching for those, but also look for feeding rises. And you won't hear them. You'll just see them.
Mm-hmm.
You'll hear those. Whenever you hear it, it's going to be a leaper, and that's not one that you really can cast.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice fish.
Okay, yeah, that's about a pound and a half.
Yeah.
Well, the reason we're posted in this location is that we're right on the edge of a shoal. And you'll see over here a white rock,
mm-hmm.
and it's deep water below the white rock, and there's a shoal that comes out in a triangle, and right up here about 20, 30 meters, and then it comes right toward us and under the boat and back over to this grassy bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a sort of a pond, a pool, over behind the shoal.
Mm-hmm.
In the daytime, this shoal is too shallow for the fish to come up on it. There's no cover.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where the fish hatch. I've sat here in June and watched huge clouds of mayflies hatching over this, and the great big caddis I was telling you about hatching up out of the water. And the fish don't want to come up on there, so if you stand off the edge with your boat and cast around the edge during the day, you have a good chance of getting them.
Mm-hmm.
But now with the light beginning to fail, there's a good chance that the big fish will start moving up onto the shoal. So the boat is posted in such a way that you can cast to this direction to catch them coming up. And I can lay a fly over top of the shoal and sweep the entire shoal with a long cast and try to catch one up there. Now the other thing we want to do is watch back in here behind the white rock. If we see any leaping fish or any feeding rise, then we know the fish are on the shoal, and that's time to start concentrating on the shoal.
Okay.
Because if you cast a fly there and the fish is anywhere near, he can't help but see it.
Okay.
You have the best chance of catching it. So I'll get a line out there on top of the shoal. And I've got on the caddis pupa.
Is that what I have on too?
Yes. That's been our most productive fly over the last week. Just cast it out, let it sit for a minute or two to sink just a bit, and then do a varied retrieve.
Rich,
Sir.
I notice when you cast that you're coming way back more than the usual 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and you're getting such a nice cast. What's your secret?
By not stopping at 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock. That really is an outmoded English style of casting, and really does not lend itself to distance casting.
It doesn't.
No, the proper distance cast is to cast forward and lay the rod back like this, turn your hand open, and as you start forward, start the line moving forward, hold down on the other hand, and the rod is completely loaded before you reach vertical. From vertical on, all you're doing is directing the cast. To stop up here just wastes all the power of the rod.
Yeah.
I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah, like here.
We'll get a little line out here. The pickup, you see how I have that hand turned out and back?
Yeah.
So it's from there that I start the delivery cast forward. I'll show you how it does.
Beautiful. Look at that cast.
So there's no S-turns in it. Now, I've not overloaded the rod. I haven't whipped the rod tip up or down.
No.
So it's the rod that's doing the work. I had back at the lodge a copy of an article that Lefty Cray wrote in 1983, which describes this style of casting. And it is at the opposite end of the scale of the typical English fly fishing, where you keep your elbow into your side and you do this.
That's the way I've learned.
And the proper way really is to come up, accelerate, stop, drift back as the line goes back, and then apply power from the back. And then as you turn your hand over and shoot out, you shoot out and up. And you cast the line up in the air, and it carries. And I'll show you that. So the only time I shoot down into the water is when I want to hit a particular target. But if I'm shooting for distance, I get enough line out to load the rod, and then I deliver.
Beautiful.
By shooting up and just letting it settle to the water.
Beautiful. Okay, Rich, now, would you help me? Like, I'm going to try that, okay?
Sure. Well, let me see a cast. And
I'll
give
show you the
some
way I've
suggestions.
normally done it, okay? I've come up
All
like
right.
this, and I've stayed up like that, you see?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I've normally cast. Now, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it your way. I'm going to come back more. It loads up. Oop. I'm just not. Oh, it really shot out that time, anyway, didn't it?
Doing better.
Is
Doing
that
better.
what you mean, like? Yeah.
That's close. There are a couple things you could do.
Boy, it looks like a hatch on right now.
help.
Oh, that's rain.
The hatch are dropped.
You know, that's the nice thing about this country. It's the only country I know of where it can be blue skies and you can get a shower.
I don't know where that's coming from. I look up there and I see a cloud over there, but I don't see any cloud for this rain.
No.
The sun shining on the tops of trees.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me just suggest what
Okay.
you might do.
Okay.
Every cast that is going to properly load the rod has to start properly by loading from the water surface.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot properly make a cast until the end of the fly line is moving. If they're slack like this, see the slack in the water?
Mm-hmm.
If I were to try to come back, you can see I never would load the rod on the back cast. So that will not work. So I've got to roll cast or something to get it out there so that I can get it down in the water and fish it in. When it comes time to cast, then lean forward as far as you can and haul the line down and lift the rod up at the same time to get the line moving.
Mm-hmm.
And as the line begins to move, you accelerate
Mm-hmm.
up and back and come to a stop, turn your hand open and let the line shoot back, keeping the rod tip pointed up and not slapping down towards the water, because the line is going to go in the direction the rod tip is going when the rod tip stops. So if you stop the rod tip slapping down towards the water, the line will shoot down towards the water and you'll hit the water.
Mm-hmm.
If you stop the rod tip going back and up, the line will shoot straight back. Then as you start forward, you've got to get the line moving forward again. And as your hand comes forward, you must haul again. Haul means pull the line in through the rod, not let line go out. Now I'll show you the sequence. You get a little line out here first to work with. Okay, we fish it in. Comes time to pick it up. Haul. See how I
Mm-hmm.
brought my hand up
Mm-hmm.
to in front of the rod and my hand open, and none of this slack in here.
Mhm.
This slack just kills you because there's no way you can come forward and load the rod
Mhm.
with all this slack in here.
Mhm.
So it's the line going back that gets the slack out of there and lets you bring the hand up for the second haul. Now if you watch my right hand, and I'll turn a little so you can watch. I'll fish it in, then watch what my right hand is doing, and back out. There's your smooth delivery.
Mm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then you come your hands together, bring your hands together at the end, and as the line settles to the water and the fly settles to the water, the rod tip settles to the water also, so that you immediately have a straight pull to the fly. And then you take the line, put it under your rod hand, and you're ready to strip the line in and you're fishing. So here's that sequence a couple of times. I'll do it with some back casts and you can see what the right hand is doing.
Wow, look at those casts. Oh,
It's easy to throw the whole line. I haven't thrown the whole thing.
so you could throw the whole line?
I think
That's
so.
30 yards. 90
Well, I
feet?
usually fish with the whole line
Oh.
out. I'll probably throw yours. Let me try yours. I haven't fished with yours.
Haven't you?
Cast yours once.
Oh, okay, here.
Yeah, I can do it.
Here.
All right, here. You hold that one. Let me see what I can do with your new sage. I'm just
Okay.
dying to get my hands on this thing.
Okay. Oh, here, hold on. We've got.
Oh, this is a lovely rod. Just a lovely rod.
Well, as I said, it was.
I don't dare
If you want
cast
one
it
like
yet.
me, go to.
I don't dare cast the air. I'll throw you in the
If you want one like it, call Brandy at Fred's Custom Tackle. She'll make you one like that.
Oh, that casts beautifully.
Look at him get all the line out. Look at him, he strips all that line down on the floor. Yeah.
Oh, it's got kinks in it. Let's see what we can do with that.
Kinks?
Well,
Yeah.
from being back on the reel. I notice you don't have a lot of backing on there.
I have 50 yards.
I'd put 200 yards on it. Oh yeah, that casts beautiful. That's a nice rod and line. Okay, now I've got the line where it's important that when you lay the line down, you place the later coils on top of the earlier coils so it'll shoot. If you do it the other way around, if you just strip the line off the reel, sit it down, and try to cast it, all those loops have to turn over.
Yeah.
And they'll snarl on you.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant by that is just a lovely rod. Now you see how when I go in the back cast, how my rod tip ends out and up? Watch the line go back. The other thing you should always do is look back and watch the line go. And then when it starts to turn over, make your front cast. See how I'm looking over my left shoulder?
Oh, yeah, you're looking over your left shoulder.
Yeah, because I'm left-handed, but okay, and I'll deliver it. Shoot it up in the air and out.
Wow.
So it shoots it all. That's because
you shot out all the line.
well, there's a couple turns left. Okay, we can post the boat in a position like this where we think fish will be feeding near the shore. And if you're left-handed and I'm right-handed, then we can both cast the same direction, and you never cast over your partner. And that's one lesson in boat fishing. Don't ever cast over your partner. And what that does is give you the impetus to learn to cast with both hands. You really should learn to cast left-handed and right-handed.
So now I got to start with this hand too?
Yes. The best time to learn to start with the left hand is when you're starting with the right hand. And the best time to learn to haul, to load the rod properly, is when you start to learn to cast. It is unwise to learn to cast without it and then think you can learn it later. Much easier to learn at the same time. But now suppose we're in a boat and the wind's blowing this way and I'm left-handed and I don't want to cast over you and I want to cast downwind. Well, I have the option of casting right-handed, but the other thing I can do is cast left-handed and cast up here, and still I'm not casting over you, and lay the fly out, and we can be fishing this area. And that way the line is never blowing into me from the side, it's not going over you. I'm still casting left-handed, and I have control over the line. But really it is much better to switch around and cast right-handed.
Yeah, look at you're ambidextrous.
Well, no, what happened was I got tennis elbow once by using an incorrect assembly for a day. And I thought, there's my opportunity to learn to cast right-handed, because I couldn't cast left-handed for about a year. So I decided I would learn to do it. But I have a lot of sympathy for people who've not learned to cast a fly yet, because although I know how to do it left-handed, and I can do it well, when I try to do it right-handed, I'm helpless.
Yeah.
So it said the body getting the experience of doing that action over and over and over again. So I can get the line out, but I can't cast right-handed nearly as well as I can left-handed. No. But I'm trying to learn because I think it's important that we know.
Yeah.
So I can get it out, but I haven't learned to double haul right-handed very well. I can get it out, but that's about as good as it gets.
Well, that's pretty good.
So if we were in this situation and we were going to fish this stretch, what we ought to do is turn the boat around. Yeah. That way I'm casting on the left, you're casting on the right. We're fishing this pool, the edge of the shoal, the edge of the weeds over there, and this deep pool, and there's been 2 or 3 3 to 4 pounders taken out of right there. And that would have us a good chance to catch them. Now, these Kamloops rainbows probably feed more after dark than they do in the daytime.
Yeah.
So one trick in BC lake fishing is about this time of the evening, find a place where you think the fish will be cruising at night. You see the grass back in there, how far out in the water it is? There's lots of room for fish to cruise back there, and it's shallow enough they won't do it in the daytime. So what we would do is come out, get our boat set, get it turned around, get the anchor set, cast in towards shore, and note how many strips of line it is to drop a fly close to the weeds as we can get it.
Mm-hmm.
Then wait for it to get dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as it gets dark, you can cast in there after it gets dark, lay the fly in the right place, never snag a weed, but the big trout are in there, and hook them pitch black dark.
Mm.
And you hook them by sound, and you play them by sound. Because if you hook one, you may be fighting the fish.
Yeah.
You think he's here, and you have no idea where he is, and all of a sudden he'll be back here because he's gone under the boat between the anchors, and he's back there.
Yeah.
One important thing in lake fishing is, since there's no current, you can't count on the current of the water to keep your line tight. So you must have the rod tip down at the surface of the water with a straight pull to the fly, so that the fish should hit. All it takes is a slight lifting of the rod and a pull of the line hand to hook the fish. If you have the rod tip up in the air, if a fish hooks, there's really no way you're ever going to hook the fish.
No.
Because there's too much slack. By the time you get that slack out of the line, the fish is long gone. So it's important on a cast to lay the line out, and just as the line is coming to the water, drop your rod tip to the water too, so that it's instantly to the water, and if I give it 2 short pulls, I'm already tight to the fly. And if there's a fish very close to it, he'll hit it instantly. That way I'm ready for him. Well, in fact, there's a leaper and a feeding rise over there. If you get set, get your boat in position, then you'll have a much better chance of the fish coming around you than to pick up and row somewhere. Drifting is another story. You can drift and sneak up on fish very quietly, and that is a most effective way to fish in a lake, is to drift to them. That's pretty good lighting with that reflection.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the right light in the dark for watching for fish. There's enough light left that the rise shows up very nicely in the contrast of the black from the trees. Oh, there's one. Not quite in range yet.
Slowly moving in, eh? Well, I'm going to lay my line out.
Yeah, it's a fly that's in the water that catches a fish,
That's right.
they say.
That's right.